Greetings, personal finance management students of the FINR2205 online course this 2013 fall semester. I wanted to touch base with you. I have just finished grading your discussion board postings for Chapter 1, and so this is just an ideal time for us to get together. So here I am on our course homepage. Before I get into the feedback for the discussion board, let's look ahead, and we have assignments that are due each week. What is this? The 17th, I believe, is a Tuesday, right? So just a couple days, yeah, that's a Tuesday. So you can see from the date of this recording, which is Sunday the 15th, we only have a couple days. Now, not many folks have posted yet, so you have an opportunity to incorporate the feedback, and I do realize you may have been waiting for that, and I apologize. I'm normally really quick. I get it graded typically the weekend following the post, but during this last couple weeks there's been some extenuating circumstances. So anyway, enough about that. Okay, so notice that, it says this is locked because it will become locked. Notice this is upcoming. It will become locked on the 17th. So you need to get in there before that assignment is due. And of course, I hope you are working on that Chapter 2 quiz so that you can get, first of all, your highest possible grade, but second of all, you got to get above the minimum. Do you remember what the minimum is? Okay, well, I took the liberty of opening our course syllabus. Of course, you can find this by clicking the links under the content section in our course. And if you have forgotten about that minimum grade requirement, you can come along the top here, Assessment and Grading. It will take you down to the methods of evaluation where we talk about the quizzes. And it says you're required to make a minimum score of 80%. These are 10-point quizzes, so that means 8 out of 10. Now remember, if you fall short of that, if you score 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7.999 out of 10, then what that's going to be is a 0 when we actually calculate your grade. So don't, fall into that situation. Take the quizzes, repeat the quizzes. There is no risk to you for repeating those quizzes because I only count, and I tell you that in here, your highest score. I give you this example and I say I'm only counting your highest score. So there's no risk to you. It's not an average, nothing like that. Just repeat it. Get your best score because you're studying as you do that. Okay, so let's get into the discussion board posting. And some feedback that I've given you that you can incorporate into this question. And in fact, let me go to discussion board posting number 2. Let me give you a note of caution that will serve you well. I'll know the students who have listened to this video and my previous syllabus video by how well they do in this. When I'm asking you in the next question, is a person's advancement in an organization more a result of skills and initiative, that would be one choice, or personal contacts? You have got to commit. Okay, so this is a theme of what I'm going to talk to you about. Discussion posting 1, now it's going to come up in 2, and it'll be an issue in, all the rest of them. In this academic setting especially, I need you to be decisive. Many times we are hesitant to do that because we want to leave the door open to mistakes or to error, right? I'm going to tell you why you don't need to do that. You're going to start out and you're going to say, this is my opinion. Maybe your opinion is that it's personal contacts. Someone else may have the opinion that it is skills and initiative. Okay, I don't want you to say both. I will take off some points if you say both. So it's not both. The answer is never, ever, ever both. As we go throughout, there's never a time where you will get points for saying it's both. Doesn't work that way. Choose one because that's what you're asked to do. Is it this or is it that? Okay, you say, but wait a minute now, there's, some room to, to hem and haw and to kind of sideways shuffle into this, right? Nope. Because what you're going to do is you're going to tell me why you have that opinion. In the feedback that I gave, even students who earned a perfect score, and many of you did, and that was excellent, and I was lenient on this posting because I haven't really driven this point home with you. I have explained it, okay, I did talk about this in the syllabus, but let's just really drive this home. Make your opinion statement. When you post into that discussion board, you're going to say, this is why. The last question had to do with Americans and debt, and you're going to say, this is why I think that way. I have a note here. You did this very well. As a class, okay, general feedback, you did this very well. Okay, now, once you make that opinion, you are going to support your opinion with a specific reference to something you read in the textbook. This textbook is very practical. There's not pie in the sky theory here. As we continue through the semester, I really believe, and I feel this has been true for me, as I read the textbook, I see something and I say, wow, I need to be doing that in my life. And in fact, as I reread the textbook each semester, I will say, you know what, 5 years ago, I was not ready for this particular financial planning aspect, but now I am. Or 5 years ago, this was an important new task for me, but today it's kind of old hat and here are the benefits, and now I'm on to something else that the textbook reads. So this is very practical life planning type of financial planning in this textbook. So what did you read that appealed to you? And for each student, there will be maybe similarities, but you will have your unique insight into the way you read an area of that book. So tell me, what did you read and how is that influencing your opinion? You know, I hope whenever you enroll in a class, your goal is not to tell everybody in the class, your instructor and your classmates, I was right, I'm born right, I'm not going to change my opinion, and I already knew everything before I even took this class, right? You're not here to say that. You may joke and say you are, but you're not, okay? You know you're not. You're here to learn. And as we learn, we change our opinions. Even if we don't change our opinion, we get deeper understanding of that opinion. So tell me about that, right? Tell me what in your textbook influenced your opinion. I would also ask that you give me a page number. Now, let me be clear on this. I'm not asking you for a thesis paper. You are not preparing your dissertation. You're just giving me a page number reference. Because in our book, sometimes they present multiple sides to a question. In fact, as I ask you these discussion questions, the reason that I'm asking them is because in your textbook, multiple viewpoints are discussed. I think something that's true as you broaden your education in different subject matters, and we all do, none of us ever stop learning, we start to understand that answers are not so much yes or no, but given a situation, in this situation, yes. In that situation, no. So there are factors that influence the decision to go with A, and there are factors that influence us to choose B. Do you see what I mean? So make your opinion statement. Tell me, okay, this is what influenced me from the textbook and the reading to choose that, and then tell me, where were you reading in the textbook? Okay, I think you can do this without, without 20 pages. Do you see? I hope you see what I'm saying. Okay, now, as you read the feedback to your grade, I also try to use a rubric, and this is the same rubric that you're going to see throughout our semester, which is, was the answer relevant to the topic? I am looking, as you give your opinion, and these references and these page numbers, to say, were you on topic? For example, with discussion board 1, the question was, why do you think Americans seem to have more money problems than people in other countries? Well, you can't just talk about anything. You can't just kind of make up something, slap it on the page, and then post. I am looking for these things, these very relevant statements. Like I say now, in this first discussion, I graded very leniently, as I always do, to talk to you about these items. I did talk about them in the syllabus when we reviewed that, but here we're driving this point really home because you need to practice it, okay? Now, spelling and grammar, and I've said this from the beginning, count. Be very careful to avoid, improper capitalization, poor grammar, sloppy grammar, using an overly casual tone. Here's a suggestion for you. To make sure that you are spelling correctly and that your sentences are well worded, consider typing them in a word processor. For example, do you see up here these little green squiggly lines? This means that I have some type of error. A word processor will point that out to you. It's saying, you know what, Dr. Jones, you should capitalize that. Do you know what, Dr. Jones, you should capitalize that. I might be spelling a word. I'm just going to make something up here. See that red squiggly line? It says, I don't even know what you're trying to say. There's a spelling error here. And when I right click it, it gives me a suggestion and I can spell it correctly. So as you do that, what you can do is after you get, I could say, this is my opinion. This part of the book influenced my opinion. Page 52, or you could even say something like, just as an example, pages 52 through 54. If it's, don't tell me the book. Don't give me something like 50 through 75. That would be ridiculous, right? You know that. Why am I even telling you that? Don't tell me to read the chapter and I'll figure it out. Okay, put me on to the right part of what you have read. Okay, because I do go and look. I really do. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? And then what you do is, after you have typed it and you understand that it's correct, you can copy this and paste it into the discussion board, right? Worst case scenario, if you have trouble with the copying and pasting, is just retype it. But you now know the correct spelling and you have fixed up the grammar, so you're on track, right? Okay, so the spelling and the grammar do count. Also, and of course you guys did a great job of this. I even saw some supportive responses, one student to another. Remain respectful, considerate of others. It is okay to disagree. For example, one person may very well say, listen, it's skills and initiative, that's all there is to it, and I have no doubt in my mind. And then they're going to support that with the reading. Another person says, nope, in my personal experience, and I can give you examples, and perhaps they do in the discussion board posting, it's personal contacts, and let me tell you how I got this job. Okay, those may be two very strong opinions. That's okay, and especially in an academic environment, this is a safe environment, as long as we remain respectful. And that one way to remain respectful is to check yourself using the book. If you say, look, I just know this, I just feel so certain, if you do not find support for that opinion in your textbook, it could be that you're not interpreting the question correctly, or that you have not really taken into account some variables, some of the not extenuating, but just some of the circumstances. Again, let me go back to this. There's more to an answer than yes and no. Yes, when the situation is this. No, when the situation is that. This could be very true for a person in a certain situation, whereas this could be true. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so this is going to make for a very rich academic discussion. And when I say academic, I don't want you to dismiss this as only in academic settings. I mean that academic in the sense that business people, business professionals, and this is a business course, discuss things by giving their opinion and supporting their opinion with facts. These facts could be from the literature, like our textbook, or like the Wall Street Journal, or when you're in a business setting, the literature may be a specific trade journal relevant to your field, okay? Or it could be from examples, right? I know this to be true because I witnessed these 3 examples. Those are very business conversations. So this format that I am recommending to you is a really sound format for having a good discussion. Okay, it keeps us fact-based, it allows us to express ourselves, and I think we'll have some really good discussion from that. Okay, so read the feedback. Where do you find that? You're going to go underneath grades, and let's look at this together a little bit. First of all, notice that this says quizzes, and then, excuse me, there's all these little quizzes underneath. Please ignore this. Ignore this subtotal because it is wrong. I will tell you why you know that it's wrong. Because when you look down through here, you know that a score of 6, which if you added these points up, if you added 6, 7, and 8.5, you would get 22.5. You know that this 6 should not be added. You know that this 7 should not be added into that total. How do you know that? Because in the syllabus it says that if you score less than an 8 out of 10, then it will count as 0 in the final calculation of your grade. Since you know that, then you know that this score is technically a 0. Nevertheless, this grades link is very important because at any given time you can come in and see the point value that you're at. I'm saying, look, the deadline for Chapter 2 quiz is not until Tuesday. I can go out there and improve my score and make sure I get above that minimum, right? Here, I know I've got an 88.5, which is 85%. So I'm good to go there. Now, I might want to repeat that quiz. Well, it's past the due date, isn't it? But hopefully you're striving for 100%. Okay, now let's keep going because there's more interesting information here. Discussion board postings. Here is my Chapter 1 discussion. And the feedback that I give you, and notice this is to the individual. Nobody else can read this feedback. This is my little test account, so you can see that here. The feedback I give you is extensive, and it's exactly what we just discussed. I'm going to tell you how you can improve your posting. Let me tell you something. As a student, I understand it is difficult to have somebody pick at your work. I mean, when you wrote it, you obviously said, I think I'm doing what is expected. I think I'm doing what's right. I know that that is your goal. I do. But if I just if I never give you feedback, then how do you improve? And I give you extensive feedback. My colleagues make fun of me for that. I will tell you that now. But I do it because this is what I wanted when I was in college. There were things that I learned much later in life that I quite frankly wish somebody would have told me. For example, I wish somebody would have told me about this format here. So I'm trying to tell you now some things that you can do to improve your posting. So when I point out to you spelling errors or grammar errors, okay, I am not picking at you. I'm not making fun of you because that is not what's in my heart. And I want you to know that, okay? I want you to recognize it. We all, and I know you know people, and I know people, and I think I know that I am sometimes one of these people. We don't hear words correctly, and so we misuse them. Or we have a phrase that we use with our friends all the time, and then that sneaks into our professional business writing, and someone else looks at that and says, I don't fully know what that means, right? And it kind of makes them laugh at us a little bit, maybe. So if I bring these things to your attention, your writing improves, and as you send emails at work and write papers for other teachers and you write reports for your bosses, you are going to represent yourself much more professionally and in a proud way that communicates without you ever being there in person, your intelligence and your knowledge and your professionalism. If that sounds grandiose, I'm sorry, but it's what's in my heart, and it's what I want from you, and I believe that you can do it. I really do. Folks, if I thought you couldn't, I would not waste my time. I would just say, 7 out of 10, let's move on, right? But that's not what I'm doing. I am giving you all this feedback, and I do this for every single student, so it takes a lot of my time because I believe it's part of the process. I mean, I went to school. I still go to school. So it's part of the process, okay? And I hope you'll see that as we continue. Okay, so that was the first grade. In my little test account, I gave myself a 9 out of 10. And I can see specifically that perhaps I should have been a little bit more relevant in my posting. I've got some detailed feedback here that I can read, and you'll see that throughout. Okay, so I hope that this feedback helps you as I'm posting your first grades. You've got your quiz grade, you've got your first discussion grade. I hope this feedback is helpful, and we'll be talking more throughout this semester. And keep up the good work, stay positive, and stay motivated as we go throughout this. I want to reiterate this, I think this class, would the other teachers be mad at me if I said more than all the other classes? Well, I might have to be mad at myself because I teach more than one class. I think you can take from this textbook practical knowledge and use it to make sometimes big improvements, sometimes small improvements in how you address areas of your life, right? As you work with your kids, as you work with your parents, as you address your own situations, okay? So be aware of the upcoming dates. Do your best. You're going to have to spend some time either reading or doing quizzes or posting discussions, probably a little bit every day, to get the best scores and to really immerse yourself in the knowledge. When we immerse ourselves, we internalize it and we start to use it, and the learning really takes root, and that's what I'm looking for. So we'll talk to you soon. Keep up the good work. Thanks.